Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So glad you guys are here. This is episode 3 of How I Met Your Fandom, where in this particular season right now we are recapping the first season of How I Met Your Father. Welcome to the show. This is Ibby. I'm Ethan, and we're glad you're here. Let's say, yeah, we'll cut that. So episode 3, pretty cool episode. It's introducing a new plot line, right? We're pretty excited about this, and it opens up in a really relatable note about the gang all talking about social media and dating apps in particular, and everything like that. In which, it's super relatable, guys. Like, I mean, I was, man, I can't talk today. At a point in time, I lived out and kind of off on my own in the middle of nowhere in Duncan, Oklahoma, and I joined Bumble and Tinder. I was on both of them, and really feeling what they're talking about. How it's just not a feasible. I don't know. It didn't ever feel feasible for me. I don't know. What do you think?
Nah, living in an actual civilized world, not like Duncan. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, living out in
Duncan sucked.
Yeah, so I heard. Yeah, living out Broken Arrow, Tulsa. Yeah, man, it's a drag. I mean, it's exhausting to be in that space. Like literally, you for me, I don't know about any of you fans out there, but it's like you put your energy until you match. You chat, you go out a couple times, and if it doesn't work out, it's like, all right, I need to just go back to my little recharge cave.
Right.
And there's no like opening the app back up and getting back out there. It's like, nah, I kind of hate this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I can honestly say I only ever ended up being able to go on 2 dates, and they were both from Bumble. So which is probably fine. None of my Tinder dates ever worked out, which is probably for the best.
My Bumble experience is way better than my Tinder experience for sure.
Yeah. But now that the new one's out, Hinge.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Hinge because I've been dating Lydia since I've learned about.
I've used Hinge. Yeah. And I kind of think it's funny how I guess it's more relatable to use Tinder. It's the more popular one. But it's just like I think honestly they're by the same company, Tinder and Hinge. Anyways, my point is, yeah, no one's using Hinge, no one's using Bumble. Tinder's one that everybody can reference. I use Tinder. Even you can say you use Tinder, and you're almost out the door. But yeah, Hinge is just not that much different from the other ones. It's just a different interface. Same goals. It's all different brands of Coke.
Oh yeah. I was thinking cocaine for a second. Like, I wouldn't know about that.
To my knowledge, only one Coke. Grade A.
So the reason why it feels super relatable, also because it's all about like online dating is all about like marketing and presentation, and so
I will say, like, not to like ruin your train of thought, but like that picture thing is real.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah,
like I did revive my Tinder briefly. I actually still use it. It's weird. Tinder looks crazy. Like I'm like a spaceman or something like that. Like what happened to Tinder? Like it's changed so much, and like I feel like a lot of the people aren't real. Like there's no way you are a real person in my area, so why even bother? So but yeah, I remember going through my pictures. I should update my pictures. They're about 5 years old. I'm like, man, I don't take any pictures that are good for this kind of stuff. I am not a very vain person.
Right.
I don't do selfies unless it's like a Snapchat, and those are not what you put in other things, right?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's like, what do I put on these things? Like, this is crazy. I don't want to be that guy who like, here's me, all my friends, but guess which one's me?
Yeah. Yeah, so much weird like marketing strategy and all of it. And like you said, like that vain note, like Jesse's on that it feels like Jesse's on that same tip. Like I'm not just gonna like pose and take pictures. Like it's just not about it. And not bashing the guys that have the confidence and
not at all
to do that. It's just like it's unrelatable for me. Yeah.
Like and it's like the envy you to just have, what, this is it.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah.
No, for me, I'm always like, my best pictures are pictures that are taken of me. And I'm also not a celebrity, so I don't get a lot of pictures taken of me.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, that's like the kind of intro part of the story that leads into the gang to various different ways, parallel themes of today's episode. And so it leads Jesse and Sophie. Sophie is determined to help Jesse actually take that good picture, which like we all need that friend that would do that. So
But you need like 5 pictures though, so
Yeah,
yeah.
they only got one.
You only got the
They
one.
only got the one. Maybe it'll work for him.
I will say, no, my Bumble profile picture, my Hinge picture, I think it was my Hinge picture, I can't remember. It hits. Like that thing's like, this is definitely the picture that goes on top.
And then so as they're working on that project to get the photo, they meet Josh Peck's character, which back to this millennial tip, bringing back a character who is hilarious growing up, Josh Peck in Drake and Josh. Yeah, just so funny.
You take it further back, bro. The Man the Bind show.
Oh yeah, they were both on that one.
Yeah, they're both on there. Yeah, I feel like Drake had like the bigger role. I feel like he did, but Josh was there too, and then they spun off and did their own thing.
Man, Nickelodeon was all about those little like progressive spin-offs.
Yes.
I think Disney tried to do that, and it was like every once in a while it would work out for Disney.
It's
but,
so funny.
Nickelodeon's hit.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that because they really were.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking like, oh, this is like a new concept. Like they've been doing this their entire it's like the entire business model.
Yeah.
Because the Man in Binds goes way back to all that.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, they've been spinning off and splintering for a long time.
It's like you can almost trace I bet you there's a way to trace all that all the way to like one of their modern shows. Like I will bet you there's like a family tree that you could do that with.
I'm about to say one of the modern shows. I'm about to say, well, you have Keenan and Kel, traces you all the way back to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Sorry, Keenan and Kel. I meant to say all that with Kenan Thompson.
With Kenan Thompson, okay.
He was just doing the same thing he was before as an adult and living the dream.
But yeah, anyways, sorry for that spinoff. It's just exciting.
Yeah. Talk about Josh Peck again. Josh Peck is back on the mainstream. Who knew that out of the two of them, Josh Peck would be the one succeeding?
And the other one's going to jail.
Actually, I guess we all do, because that's what the show kind of prefaced.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Glad to see him back in the biz and everything. And again, them showing us him like before the show drops. And then not showing him till episode 3 was another, like, it had me. I'm like, I gotta see how he's gonna come in. I gotta see how he's gonna come in. And then so in comes we meet a school principal named Drew, vice principal. So, yeah. And Drew is in charge. I guess he's relatively in charge of Jesse, Jesse's boss, and interrupts them trying to take this photo and ends up hitting on Sophie pretty hard in a smooth way. Yeah. What's that line? I think you have a very individually
singularly
pretty face. Singularly pretty face, something like that. I was like, that's a smooth line. Good job, Josh Peck.
Yeah, you came a long way.
Good job, Josh Peck. Good line. And so the rest of Jesse and Sophie's episode is kind of just this like them reapproaching dating. And Sophie trying to coach Jesse to get back into dating, and Jesse trying to also, passively help Sophie. At the end of it, Jesse is asking Sophie to get back at it too.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty cool. So there's 3 stories in this one, parallel stories, and so the other one is Charlie and Ellen. You want to talk about that?
Charlie and Ellen, yeah. Charlie obviously needs a place to stay. If you've been keeping up, right? He can't stay with Val and Sophie. He's realized that they're moving too fast and that she needs space. All relationships need space. They really skipped a major step, right? Now he needs to move out, but New York is expensive, and he lost all of his money, or just it's being withheld, right? So he's trying to find a place to stay, while also Ellen, newly divorced or in the process, also needs somewhere to stay because she's staying with her brother and his best friend Sid, and that's not feasible. Sleeping on the couch while they play video games, hilarious.
Yeah.
By the way, which also, why aren't they in their own rooms? You know what I mean? Like, who's doing that these days?
Yeah.
You can play in your room, play in my room, and still be talking to that kid, who's being a baby.
So I think that was a callback because Ted and
Marshall
sat like that too.
Yeah, they had to though. In 2004.
Because they had to. Yeah. So that's a good point.
But yeah, they both need roommates. But Ellen is not about it. She doesn't want a room with Charlie. She wants a roommate, but not Charlie. And Charlie is sort of like just repeating his old habits. And he's willing to dive in at first.
Yeah.
With this girl he barely knows.
Yeah, he's super trusting like
Yeah.
that. Interesting. Yeah. And I mean that leads them by the end of the episode, they
Yeah.
have decided that they have to move in together, which
Mhm.
I think is kind of cool. It's got like this Will and Grace vibe, and I think that's gonna allow for some really funny like slapstick comedy
Mhm.
type with where there's like no romantic tension.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, so it's
I've seen
like
ahead. It definitely does.
yeah,
You said Will and Grace, and that just nails it.
yeah,
Like, the inverse of it just nails it. You know, the handsome straight guy and his lesbian best friend, they get into semantics.
yeah. Yeah, I yeah. If by the way, guys, if we're on like episode 10
Three.
now.
Oh, episode 10 is where
Yeah,
it's at. Yeah.
where it is as of we're filming, so we know a little bit more about it along the way, and it does get funny.
Yeah, it's a
It-
really good shipping of those two.
Yeah.
That's the right word if they're not, if it's platonic.
we can still ship
Yeah,
friends, I guess.
relationship,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then that leads us to our third kind of parallel story in this episode, is between Sid and Val, which is super cool. That they kind of flip-flopped everyone in this episode, mix
Mhm.
everyone up. So it's not Jesse and Sid this time. It's
Mhm.
not Charlie and Val this time. You know, it's they really
It's
they're
Sid and
mixing the
Val.
pot and trying to figure everything out.
It's Sid and Val. She literally says, "You're lucky you met me," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, forget you guys aren't friends that long." I love that. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
this notion of just new friends. You know what? Talked about this before off the mic. I'm a huge Drake fan, and I will die on this hill that he has only said, probably said a lot of problematic things, but the one thing I just can't vibe with is when he said no new friends. Great song. It's fun to say, but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
All new friends, all the time. Anytime I get a chance to meet somebody.
I imagine the money changes the perspective.
Probably. That's yeah. No friends in the industry. He says that in his most recent album. I think it's bogus because this song literally has a feature on it. What do you call that person?
A resource.
Yeah, resource.
So, yeah, Val and Sid's story in this episode is pretty funny. It is that again, like that slapstick style, like it's super awkward comedy, an awkward thing
Mhm.
to be having to do with a stranger. I mean, Sid, as we've predicted, Sid's relationship is
It's rocky.
it's rocky. They
Yeah,
long distance relationship. And they're trying every unique possible way to spice up the relationship,
Mhm.
and they haven't said save it per se, but
Yeah.
it's like it definitely seems like it's not going well.
Yeah. I gotta say that a long distance HelloFresh date sounds cute as hell.
That would
So,
be cute.
Yeah. I mean, like I can imagine it gets stale.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just telling them it must have been hot at first, and then it was like, yeah, I don't want to do this baked hot thing, which doesn't sound great. Anyways, but yeah, man, the struggle of maintaining a long distance relationship is no joke, and this show tries to or really does a good job of explaining that, you know, all these different ways of making things hot and sexy still. In this case, a remote sex toy, which I'm not sure, is that even a real thing?
I don't know. I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's weird. I think the joke that Val makes about it, well, not the joke that Val makes, the knowledge and interest that Val has about it. I really, maybe I'm untouched here, maybe I'm off base here, and I'm just away from that realm of things, so I don't get it.
Mhm.
But I feel like the reoccurring joke in sitcoms about the female knowledge and interest and level of inquiry and everything about
Yeah.
like sex toys is like, I would bet that's a male written joke that misses,
Yeah.
because like I got girls that are friends,
Yes.
right, and it doesn't come up that often. Like as often as these sitcoms make it come up, it does not come up that often. Like, and so I don't know, maybe that's a hot take, and maybe I shouldn't talk about that because I
Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the,
Ladies.
lady, tell us in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's like I've never heard of this device. I don't doubt it. Obviously, you know, technology being what it is, but also like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, it has its own speaker on it, which I'm like, what is this speaker for? And I'm like, actually, you know what? That's probably useful. You
Somehow.
know, whisper sweet nothings. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, so weird. I love. I mean, so I don't watch the Daily
Yes, I watch it
but
almost daily.
I love how funny it like puts a thought in his mind. It's like talking about flesh eating bacteria while he's inside this device. It's just like yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
it for me. I'm
the
done.
show is kind of a bummer. You think about it. You start your day off listening to what's happening in the world today, and it's not always a rosy story. I
Mm,
mean, right now it's dominated by Ukraine.
yeah.
So like, yeah, I was like, I didn't think about it until you just said it. But like, yeah, you know what? What a way to start your day. I do it every day. What's going on out there?
How long are the episodes usually?
Like 30 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
not too bad.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. So that's the three little parallel stories. They all end differently. So Jesse and Sophie end up deciding that they're both good enough to do this thing, the dating thing, which is super cool. Sid and Val ends up helping Sid realize that what he really needs to do is make this grand romantic gesture, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. And then of course Charlie and Ellen. Sorry, I almost read Will and Grace. I was like, that's not their name.
Yeah.
Charlie and Ellen find that as even though it's so unlikely that they should be living together, it is their best option, and
Yes.
that's really gonna set up. It's almost like we have three plots from here to go that are this is where these reoccurring jokes are probably gonna come from, or is like when these are teamed up,
Mhm.
is what it feels like. You know what I mean? Or drama or whatever it might be. And then, of course, the fourth plot that is now introduced is Sophie meeting Drew. And so much so that the episode ends by telling us that Drew was at the party. So if you
Mhm.
guys don't remember, part of the qualifiers of who the father is he was at that party that night. And so
Mhm.
this is a tactic that I feel like could really only be used once.
Yes.
And they used it on episode 3. It's
Yes.
like you can't just keep saying like, oh yeah, I was there that night.
Yes.
But here we are, and with Josh Peck's character Drew, he was there. He's the one who gave her the phone charger, which I think that was a smart.
Mhm.
I don't know if they wrote that in before or after that, because she remember her phone was dead and she needed a phone charger.
Yes.
And she comes up and said, "I found a charger,"
Mhm.
and like plugs it in or whatever. So I wonder which order that came in on
Right, yeah.
writing. But there's that continuity
Exactly.
that you're all about.
Chef's kiss. Yeah, dude. And I mean, I feel like they probably will try to do that trope again, or that bait and switch again. You know what I mean? It was a party. A lot of people were there. We watched it again. We got to see Josh Peck there. So it just kind of makes us wonder who else is there. I think I said that in an earlier episode that they're going to pull some sort of How I Met Your Mother thing where she was there. You know what I mean? Like the first time, and we just haven't met them yet. With the party being that big, they can keep pulling it off. Oh, what was it? I was outside smoking. You know what I mean? Oh, you know what? I actually dropped my glasses. I came late. We must have missed each other. Ships passing in the night, something like that. And like maybe do a cutback of like, yeah, they bump shoulders coming through the door. You know, I think they can use that setup again, at least a few more times if they need to. Just kind of keep themselves open, because you got to realize, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here. They probably don't have the end game already set in stone.
Oh, you don't think so?
Yeah, they probably have an idea what they want at the end, but like, you know, the audience will dictate that, what's working, what's not. They have focus groups.
Oh yeah.
They have all this kind of stuff. So yeah, cast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think at one point How Much Your Mother was you know, it's going to be renewed for a season. So and so doesn't want to come back. That kind of thing. Well, that's going to mess things up. Do we stop now, or what do we do?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I guess they have an idea where they want it to land, and then everything else is filler.
Yeah.
Probably until they realize that they can't make any more episodes, and,
Yeah.
and then they have to make it land there.
Because like maybe like I don't know, maybe there's like a groundswell of like if they have Ian as a reoccurring character, there's like people really like Ian. Maybe Ian should be the guy.
Yeah.
You know, like all right, change him on the board.
Yeah.
Pulling out Josh Peck, putting Ian in.
So the thing I really like about this episode, and something I think is really going to be really important, is this line that Sophie gives Jesse when they're at the bar, the club. I don't remember where that place was, but
It was a bar. It was a bar.
It was
Yeah.
some.
It wasn't their
place.
bar. Yeah. I thought it was their bar at first. Upon rewatching, I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, Sid's not there. Neither is the Gen Z kid.
Yeah, and the bar's on the other side.
Yeah.
But the line is, I think you're gonna like me, and I love the comeback of like, so you want me to lie?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
funny. So funny. It's hilarious. And so he goes and delivers the line, and
Such
it
a
works.
pessimist.
And only the way that he could do it, it works.
Mhm.
Which is like butchering it, but then recovering out and like kind of winning her over with awkwardness or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
boyish charm,
yeah.
genuine honesty. Yeah. Honestly, it could go either way.
It's like 50-50.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So I'm almost so bold to use that one. You know, it's like, you can go either way. We'll see.
But we find out that she's recognizes him for his proposal fail, and she's like texting her friends, and Sophie overhears it, and then ends up confronting her about being mean to Jesse, and while Jesse is away getting this new girl a drink, and comes back in time to hear that she was telling her friends that she was on, like, she was about to date the proposal guy or whatever, but she actually was interested in him a little bit, and now she's not, and so
Now
she
she's
walks
not.
out. She walks out, and then Sophie turns around and says to Jesse, "I think you're gonna like me," as like a recover of like trying to like break, make up for what she just done. And here's why I think it's important. I think it's important because they both have just said, they've almost just manifested this thing. Like, now I'm like, it's very clear we are in a will they won't they situation with these two, and now it's even just like, oh my gosh, and now they've officially like tried to do a wingman thing together, and it failed, almost as if it was destiny for them. They are not supposed to set each other up.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be with each other. So I don't know. I think it's important. I think they have a lot of ground to work with on that instance.
and just reminds me again that as cute as that line is, like, they don't know each other that well.
Right.
So it's like, hey, stick with me.
Yeah.
Stick with me, kid. Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks, or however long it's been. I don't.
Yeah. We're gonna make this thing work. Also, I don't know if this counts as a callback because it's not the exact same thing, but have you met Ted?
Yeah.
Like right from the jump.
Yeah.
Have you met Jesse? They didn't do that, but it's that similar dynamic. But like, I feel like it's like a bumbled version of it.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, this is a wingman, wingwoman thing, and Hillary Duff is not good at it yet.
No.
But Jesse, as we find out, kind of is. He at least, I don't know. He didn't do much. He just, aside from like provide the phone number, but still, that made all the difference.
Yeah.
In her trajectory.
Yeah, I think so. And so, I mean, I guess let's just. Do you have anything else you want to say about that episode?
Nothing that I could think of except I feel like I did have something to say about the girl he was talking. Yeah. She whenever he walks away to go get the drinks, she calls her friend, or he, like, I guess, voice messages her friend. Another super relevant thing. I don't even do that.
Oh yeah. I've seen people do that. I'm like, I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. All caps. You'll never guess who I'm seeing. Uncaps. What? Is it that sensitive?
I have no idea.
Yeah. But anyways, she starts to call her friend or message her friend to tell her that she's dating or out talking to, being hit on by the epic proposal fail guy. And it really reinforces his actual fear of getting out there.
Yeah.
Aside from just the exhaustion it can be to just date, period.
Yeah.
The dread of just knowing that people know who you are for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
That's, just opening it out to get you recognize me, don't you? Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm that guy. Yes. Just
he literally went viral.
Yeah.
On a terrible thing.
And now it's in the back of his mind, and like, maybe she didn't see it. Maybe she didn't see it. Maybe she did.
Yeah.
Has she seen it? How long until she recognizes me? What if she does see it? What if she talks to her friends about me and they look me up and they see it, and then it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, it's just, it's a real fear that he has going on there that
You know what episode that reminds me of? And How I Met Your Mother?
No.
Which is not our callback episode for this time, but the one where he's dating Tyra Banks.
Oh yes.
And the rule is they're not going to Google each other beforehand, which is cool. It's so funny because the way How I Met Your Mother is time-wise, they start and they have like flip phones.
Yes.
And it progresses along with time.
Yeah,
And so
smartphones,
they get smartphones and they just stay relevant and everything to be able to Google. That's hilarious. That's like in that same vein. But yeah, I think that is, we'll see if he still is actually as confident. Because the trade at the end, a really good picture of him and the Drew's phone number, it doesn't actually seem fair. Like he
Yeah.
got her a date.
Yeah.
She got him a tool to
Yeah.
use to maybe get him a date.
Yeah, he
in
still has to
which-
get over that hurdle.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then have to get a next hurdle, and the
Yeah.
next hurdle. There's a lot of hurdles you have to get through, but she's in the door.
yeah,
So
yeah. I don't know. But anyways, let's go ahead and go to our episode callback.
Sophie needs more friends or coworkers.
Yeah.
Sorry, go back.
That's fine. Okay, so for my callback for this week, I'm actually stealing one that you talked about in a couple episodes ago.
Mm.
You brought up our first episode. You brought up the time that Lily leaves.
Oh yeah.
And so season 1,
It's a good
episode
time.
22 is called "Come On," and it's all about the main story that you're thinking about. So there's two parallels. Like again, the parallels just like this one. There is Marshall's parallel and there's Ted's parallel. Marshall's parallel is that he finds out Lily applied for this art school that is that would uproot their relationship.
Yeah.
And she got in.
Mhm.
And then Ted's thing is he's just coming off this this awkward thing where he was in love with the cake baker who moved to Germany or wherever she went to, and then kissed Robin, so technically cheated on Victoria, I think was her name, and is now trying to make up things with Robin because he didn't mean to make her into like that kind of like of a person to him or something like that. He
Yeah.
actually really does love her. And so at the end of the episode, or throughout the episode, Ted's like, the universe is telling me just one more grand romantic gesture, which is why I said we'll talk about this in a little bit. I just need to do it, and he does it, and it flops. He gets a whole 4-piece orchestra, and they all have blue instruments, and a room full of roses, and is waiting inside her apartment, and they talk it out, and he says, I need a no, yes or no, and she goes, well, I just can't say yes, and he's like, then it's a no, and he like walk, they end or whatever, in which Robin then decides that she's actually going to give this dude at work a little bit of a try, which is like upsetting, like I don't know, I maybe don't have room to speak about this in 2022, but like Lady Sandy Rivers does not deserve a chance to try the acre, okay? Yeah. Like Lady T ain't it, okay?
Yeah.
Lady T ain't it. But if you got a Ted in your life, maybe look at Ted or Marshall or like Barney after he figures his crap out or something like that. But if ever. But anyways, so Marshall and Lily's story, Ted's story keeps going to where he learns how to do a rain dance on a roof. And he looks ridiculous and hilarious. But then it rains, and Barney's up there on the roof with them, and that's where the title line comes from. Barney says, as it starts raining, Barney's like holding a beer, his like suit's all undone. He's like, come on, and it's like as a rain falls, because like Ted was just telling him that like he's not gonna stop doing this rain dance because he loves Robin, even though it's so illogical, so impractical. It's clearly not the rain dance that made the rain fall or whatever. It's just like the universe doing this thing, and it's hilarious. And then so he runs to Robin's house because he knows that her camp out trip with Sandy Rivers and the rest of the people got rained on, so she's staying home, and he's down there, and he even tells her, she never asked him about it, but he even tells her, he's like yelling at her to the window. He's like, you need to come down here. She's like, why? He's like, I made it rain. and she just kind of skips right over it. He's like, I'm not coming down there. I'm not even dressed. And he's like, you need to come down. I did my part. And she's still not picking up on this thing. He believes he made the rain for it, which is hilarious, but she didn't pick up on it. But anyways, it works out. They end up, kissing, and that's all you really see about it. But that is their first time that they are going to be in a relationship together. Like they're officially started. Ted's catching the taxi ride home in the morning, and it's still kind of raining. And he pulls up. Marshall's on the front stairs of their apartment, and he's kind of crying. And Ted's like, they don't say anything. And Marshall just holds up the ring, the engagement ring, and just kind of like shrugs his shoulders and like looks at him, shakes his head, and puts it back down. And Ted knows immediately that
Yeah.
that they must have had a breakup. Um, so all that the reason why I wanted to call back on this episode because I think it's a pretty cool episode. But the way it really plays in is like doing this long distance relationship stuff is
Hard.
is really hard, and what you learn about any relationship in general, but especially long distance relationship, it's all based on the efforts.
Yeah.
Like, um, so for the viewers that don't know me, I've been in a semi long distance relationship for like 4 years. And Ibby and I are Tulsa based, and she is Oklahoma City based. And the rocky moments were always when, because I hate driving. The thing is, I hate driving. I'll be honest with you guys. I hate driving. The rocky moments were always the times in which I was trying to convince myself to having to convince myself to drive. And out of frustration, I would start unpacking and unloading frustrations onto her. That wasn't fair to her
Mm-hmm.
because it's not, it's not her fault that I like that I don't like driving. You know what I mean? Like that's a personal problem of mine, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean. And so we had these we during COVID we instilled date nights because during COVID we couldn't go see each other anyways because our cross section was too large, so we couldn't. We just could. It was just safest if we didn't.
Yeah.
And so we incorporated date nights in which we still uphold to this day, and it's usually 2 to 3 times a week. And we watch a movie together or we watch a show together. Your mic's like slouching. All that to be said, the efforts make the relationship, and so I think there's a really important part for Sid's gonna have to learn from Barney probably if Sid really wants to make this relationship work.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've said, we're already pretty positive it's not gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll do a date on and off thing throughout the series just to keep some lingering tension there.
And they got engaged. That just doesn't go away.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But Sid's gonna have to start showing efforts to make the relationship work out like that, and that's why I think the parallel of episode or season 1, episode 22, come on, between Ted getting his relationship and Barney losing his doesn't have to do with, Marshall losing his doesn't have to do with Marshall's efforts per se, because I think it's pretty clear most of the fandom really don't appreciate Lily for this thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the problem in Lily and Marshall's circumstance is the efforts that were made in the past, and then like the regrets of lack of certain communication about goals and perspectives and stuff like that leading up to this thing. And so now that Sid is in a long distance relationship and the efforts are coming short,
Yeah.
it's I think that's the parallel he has to Marshall, is that his relationship is falling, is kind of failing and crumbling, even though they are progressing through it.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird idea that you can progress through a relationship and still fail it.
Yeah.
We know plenty of we've all got that friend that gets married and we're like, why are they getting married? So we've seen this all the time. But I think the way that Sid is relating to Barney is that he makes
Marshall.
why do I keep saying Barney? Marshall is that he's in a failing relationship that should be successful.
Yeah.
And then the way he relates to Ted is that he actually crumbles down and does the grand romantic gesture. So we'll see what happens from here. But that's why I wanted to use that callback, because that is like an intense episode with a lot of feelings in it. And I think Sid's episode today was a lot more humorous, but that's like essentially like a pretty this is what's weird. How I Met Your Mother seems to be a little bit more feeling. I don't know how to say it.
like emotional.
Yeah, it's like it's got a lot more things in it to absorb and unpack. Cause like when Marshall's sitting on there on the step, like I only watched that episode by itself, but like I like teared up a little bit. I was like, dang it, Marshall, I know what you're about to go through.
Dude, when his dad dies and says, "I'm not ready for this," that's what some of the hardest like phrases I've ever heard, ever delivered. Jason Segel can act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that episode's tough.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. You're saying like you're right. It hits you in the feels for sure. As funny as it is, it really does. Hit those emotional beats Well, I'm not sure, how much father has gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's still young. It's in its infancy. But how much mother was doing it from the ground,
Yeah.
from
I mean,
the
this is
start.
season 1. This is the
Yeah,
end of season 1.
yeah,
Granted, we talked about this though. How I Met Your Mother. This is season 1 of 22.
yeah, yeah. They got twice as many episodes, if not more. I was gonna say, if you're done on that same tangent, um, you're fresher than I am with the earlier seasons of How I Met Your Mother, but I think we look back on that and we're thinking like, that sucked. How could Lily do that to Marshall, to leave him and break up, for her dreams, whatever. Which you're right. That's something they should have actually laid the groundwork for earlier. You know what I mean? That's something that's a fail on like maybe both their parts,
Yeah, I
if
think
not
both.
Lily's.
Yeah, it's
But
both.
yeah, there's also something admirable in just knowing you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like long distance relationships are hard. And she was like, I'm going on what's it, like San Diego, San Francisco,
San
something like.
Francisco, I think.
She's like, yeah, I'm moving across country, Sid. This isn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it doesn't work out for her, she gets to come back and make amends. And that's a whole different story to tell. But I guess like we kind of just said that if this doesn't work out between Sid and fiance, still can't remember her
We
name.
still don't remember her name.
If this doesn't work out between Sid and fiance, then she's not just gonna go away. Probably she'll be a recurring character, kind of as she is. I'm actually as much as I've watched, I'm still kind of impressed that we've seen her so much.
Mm-hmm.
They're making an effort to bring her back into the
Mm-hmm.
fold, so that's cool. Yeah, yeah. I think there's something admirable in hindsight that Lily just couldn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like at least maybe past Ibby was like, oh, you're the villain in this story, and now I'm like, nah. You had your reasons. You set the, you drew a line in the sand and said you weren't willing to do this and weren't willing to put him through this. So you just cut bait, and it worked out in the end. So no harm, no foul. So I can't say the same for Sid there, but
Yeah. Well, guys, I know Ibby's on a time crunch today, so we're gonna go ahead and push right into expectations. I'm just gonna burn through mine real quick, and then yeah, we'll probably end up from there. I got a couple of expectations. I got one that I think will be really cool that I hope happens. I think they need to start giving us hints about who it is in the background of the home from the future.
Yeah.
In similar ways that started happening towards the later seasons of How I Met Your Father and stuff like that. And I think that would be really cool to see. And I've already found myself analyzing some of the things in the back of the room. And of course, it's like when you have no context, it could be anything on that back shelf. Yeah. Does she read? So I don't know, but I really hope that they are foreshadowing that far and like putting the hints right in front of our face so that they can come back and do it.
Yeah.
I'd say my other expectation is I'm really at this point in episode 3 of the show. Again, I'm further along, so I know, but at this point in episode 3, I'm really hoping to see Josh Peck's character Drew get developed by but I know I'm concerned because of Ian, how fast Ian came and went.
Yeah.
And now there's Josh. I mean Drew. And I wonder how quickly Drew will come and go. Especially since at this point, if you're asking me, I mean, there's like, what is it? So there's Jesse, Sid, Charlie. Now there's Ian and Drew. There's 5 potentials at this point. So, you can't put, as far as I'm concerned, I can't put my egg in any basket, right? For who I think it is. But I like I said, as people who grew up watching Nickelodeon and stuff like that, I hope Josh Peck stays around for a while.
Root for Josh.
Yeah.
And on that same token, flip that quarter around, man. What if it's a girl?
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's called How Much Your Father. Never mind. Dang. Pause. No, okay. Yeah, we were talking about this before. I'm sorry. I knew we were on to something before. How I Met Your Father. Yes, he has a father, but what if she ends up with a girl?
Yeah.
We noticed that in this episode with that the girl that he was talking to at the bar, no homo, all that kind of stuff. That old adage when you say something that's sus. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. But like I feel like girls are more do this more often than men do, anyways. Even though we've definitely come a long way in recognizing the same sex as attractiveness. She literally just goes, yeah, no, she looked like she was good at it. That girl right there is good at sex. And we're like, that got me thinking, what if? Why not? Why can't she be bisexual?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She just hasn't found that girl yet.
Yeah.
So be a really interesting super twist if we find out that somehow Josh Peck Drew is the father and she ends up with Val or
Ellen. If they have Ellen right in front of us the whole time and it ends up being Ellen, I'll be
like,
"Well, I did not see that coming."
Yeah.
Although we did say it.
We did say it.
First. We called it. We're here first. If that's the ending,
No, that'd be devastating for Jesse. Yeah.
He's like, what?
How? But wouldn't see it coming. And again, we talked about this before. They're not siblings, but the whole Barney Ted rivalry with Robin, it's all I'm saying, it's on the table.
Yeah.
It's on the table. Ellen is on the board.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Hot take. They haven't got the hot takes yet. My hot take, Ellen is on the board. Val's too close.
So there's 6 people.
There's 6
people now that it could be. Well, 5 for the father.
5 for the father.
Who's in the house?
Who's gonna be the mother, right? Or the Robin, I guess. The person
Robin.
that she ends up with.
Yeah.
Who's not the mother.
The bait and switch.
The bait and switch, yeah. The red herring or something like
red
that.
herring, yeah, I think that's the better one for that.
Yeah.
But... Well, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Again, we are hoping to expand to more fandoms. There's a lot of cool content coming out lately that we could all talk about, and I think we got a couple episodes in mind for some like one-off episodes of things. The new Batman movie's out. We would love to do some recap of some of the animes that are popping right now, and we talked just the other day about getting some of the Last of Us stuff worked through, because our other roommate right now is currently playing Last of Us and having a blast with it. Mm-hmm. And then we're talking about sitting down and watching him play through 2 and to build up some content for like maybe an episode over Last of Us 1, episode over Last of Us 2, all to get ready for the Last of Us
television series on HBO Max, the overlord of streaming. You know, Netflix crawled so that, or walked, I think is the saying, so that HBO could run. But then again, HBO started the prestige television movement, so I don't know. Cyclical.
Yeah.
But HBO Max is producing, you probably know this by now, a television adaptation of the popular, highly acclaimed, and divisive video game. And much to, I don't know, The Last of Us fashion, the series itself is also divisive somehow. You know what I mean? They did nothing half-assed over there. Like, they decided to, you know, piss off half their fan base, which, mind you, I hope you're listening to this. I hope you, whether you like it or not, you know, hope you still listen and watch. But I've never met anybody who in person who hated that game. But they're out there. But if you look at it on the Facebook or get on the internet, sure enough, there are people who hate the series too. Yeah. It hasn't even dropped yet. They're hating the casting decisions. And I'm like, yo, this can't miss, in my opinion. What was his name? Pedro Pascal as Joel. Yeah, it's gonna hit for me.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Great actor. Yeah.
I think it'd be good. But anyways, that's all we got for today. Hope you guys are looking forward to stuff in the future. Bye, everybody.
Bye.